Hi, everyone. I'm Tyson,
Kenneth.
and this is our podcast we've created for our AP Psych project. And Kenneth gave us a great name. Would you like to tell everybody, Kenneth?
I would love to. We named our podcast Mind Mates.
So, here on MindMates, we're going to be discussing different cognitive processes, such as the gambler's fallacy and sunk cost fallacy. And we're going to talk about how they can kind of hinder people from making positive decisions. So, you ready, Kenneth?
Yep, cue the intro.
So, in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about gambling.
Ooh, my favorite.
We won't be talking about gambling in the sense you think. We'll be discussing the gambler's fallacy, and then later on in the episode, we're going to get into the sunk cost fallacy.
Oh wow, it sounds like I have a lot to learn.
Don't worry, Kenny. We're going to teach our listeners all about these fallacies and how they can avoid them.
What's a fallacy?
So, according to Merriam-Webster, a fallacy is defined as a false or mistaken idea.
Oh, well, that's helpful to know. So, where do we start?
We start today's episode with the gambler fallacy.
What exactly is the gambler's fallacy?
So, the gambler's fallacy states that a person is more likely to anticipate a win after a repeated series of losses or a loss after a series of wins.
Oh, so basically when someone bases their decision making on past trends?
Exactly. They'll treat multiple events as a series rather than independent events. So, Kenneth, what are your favorite types of gambler?
Oh man, I mean, I participate in a ton of types of gambling. Like, I love online gambling, I love poker, I love blackjack, I even dibble dabble in some bingo every now and then.
Do you ever sports gamble, Kenny?
From time to time, it's not my favorite gambling, but I mean, as long as I can make bank,
So you're more of a casino guy, huh?
oh yeah, I love the casino, yeah.
So have you ever lost everything while at the casino?
Um, I've gotten close, but not yet though. I'm still going strong.
Do you believe at times you're due for a win after a series of losses?
Yes, I do. I do believe in that, yes.
You see, Kenneth, what you've done for our audience is given a perfect example of what the gambler's fallacy is.
Oh, oh shoot, really? But that's a good thing though, right?
That's great for our audience. I don't know if it's so great for you. Have you ever thought about gambling responsibly?
Uh, what's the fun in that?
You don't want to lose all your money.
I've only been earning money.
Didn't you just say you got really close to losing everything?
Close, but I didn't lose anything.
Interesting.
I actually have a great story for this.
Why don't you go ahead and tell our audience?
Okay, well basically, I used to know this guy. His name's Alvin. He was on a cruise ship with his family, Simon, Theodore, and Dave. But Dave, he oversaw everything and told them to stay put. But Alvin was like, frick that, we ball. And he went to the casino. And after going, he made absolute bank. If he stayed put, he would still be broke.
That's great, but what about the flip side?
I don't know, you tell me.
What about when someone gambles money they can't afford to lose and goes broke, losing everything?
Just get better at gambling. I don't know what to tell you.
That's not the mindset, Kenya. We have to teach people to gamble responsibly.
How exactly could you gamble responsibly?
Well, for starters, always have a plan and never gamble what you can't afford to lose.
But if you think about it, 99% of gamblers quit before they hit big.
Don't encourage unhealthy habits.
I can encourage whatever I want.
What if someone takes your advice and loses everything?
Like I said, gamble better.
Gambling is random, Kenny. There isn't any skill involved.
Look, try to convince me all you want. I'm still going to the casino as soon as we finish this episode.
Don't lose all your money. Think about your future.
What do you mean?
You have a long life ahead of you.
A long life of gambling?
No, if you lose all your money, you can't go to college.
Well, I suppose that's true.
Think about your future wife and kids.
Don't you mean you?
But seriously, if you lose it all now, think about the future of your life.
Okay, fine. You've convinced me. Don't gamble irresponsibly, guys.
That's the spirit.
Wow, I was really wrong about gambling. Now, how can someone avoid the gambler's fallacy?
That's a great question. So, for starters, people can educate themselves on the nature of probability and randomness. You should treat every event as its own separate event, not a continuation of the past.
I think I see what you're saying. Like, for example, if you flip a coin 4 times and it lands on heads the first three, it still has a 50-50 chance the fourth time?
Exactly. The fourth flip is a separate event and not influenced by any change from the packs.
Oh, wow, that makes so much sense.
That's great. So shall we move on to the sunk cost fallacy?
What what in the world is the sunk cost fallacy?
Wow, Ken, if you really did not pay attention in class.
I wasn't here or I was asleep.
Well, the sunk cost fallacy states that someone is more likely to continue to do something because of a previous investment.
So how does this hinder decision making?
The sunk cost fallacy causes people to evaluate the situation that based off the past rather than the future. People often focus on recouping what's already been lost, often causing them to lose even more.
Oh, so like staying in a relationship that doesn't work just because you put in a lot of time or spent a lot of money?
Exactly. That's a great example.
So how does one avoid this?
That's a great question, King. You should focus on your future, acknowledge what was lost, and understand that it can't be recovered. Try to assess the situation as if you were starting from the beginning. So now, me and Kenneth are going to dive a little bit deeper into the sunk cost fallacy and share some personal examples to help explain it to our audience. So as we said earlier, the sunk cost fallacy kind of states that somebody will stay in a situation that they've lost something in, trying to regain it, evaluating that situation based off the past rather than looking forward to the future. So a lot of times we see this in our lives and different friendships and relationships where it might not be beneficial anymore, but we like to cling on to the past because it's human nature to look at the good and we look past the bad stuff and try to cling on to good feelings. And it causes us to act in ways that often cause us to lose more trying to cling on to that. So Kenneth has a story he'd like to share with you, and then I'll share my story after him.
Oh, I suppose I have the story. So, I mean, we've all been in the situation where we are just chilling at home, but then all of a sudden you start to miss someone, you know? But like what I've heard is that you don't miss them, you missed the memories that you had with them.
That's a great point.
Yeah, so I feel like that could also be it. I'm an example of the sunk cost fallacy because it's when you what does it mean again? I forgot what it meant.
And it's where you like evaluate a situation based off the past and try to regain back something you've lost because of like an investment.
Exactly what I was saying.
That's a great story, Kenneth. So as Kenneth said, um, oftentimes, especially at night, I feel like it happens.
Yeah.
Um, we get in our feels and it can cause you to miss somebody. So the sunk cost fallacy exemplifies that well as we kind of look back on those like good memories and like positive feelings and we often kind of like block out the negative. Um, so any thoughts, Kenneth?
Oh man, I mean, that's just so deep, you know. So deep.
We weren't expecting to go this deep in this episode, but hey, I guess the wind brought us here.
Mm. If you don't mind, could you please summarize what we talked about this episode for our audience?
Mm. Sure, Kenny. We talk about the gambler's fallacy and how every event is separate. We discuss how to avoid the gambler's fallacy and the need to gamble responsibly. We also discussed the sunk cost fallacy and how people evaluate situations based off the past rather than the future. And finally, we talked about how to avoid the sunk cost fallacy and why some people lose more than they need to while trying to recoup what's already been lost.
Wow. We sure have covered a lot of helpful information.
Exactly. And we taught you about the dark side of gambling.
This was a really helpful episode, Tyson.
I agree. Any last words for our listeners today?
Always gamble responsibly. And remember what you learned today. Bye, everybody.
You're the man. Take care, everybody.